housing market has completely flipped. The housing market has flipped in a wild way in 2 weeks. Now you can see it we're going to look at, by the way, we're going to look at this hot and cold map. I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you where it's hot and where it's cold. We're going to get there. We're going to look at it by neighborhood. I'm so excited. It's going to be cool. But look at this. January 20th, we were down 15% year over year in demand, coming off one of the slowest years in Nashville history. We were going into January 15% below that. I was bearish. Since Trump became president, contracts have gone vertical. They've gone vertical. Even Altos Research, Mike Simonson, great guy. He's a little bit sad about Trump being elected. I think personally it's skewing his view of the data because he's like,
this is the first instance of an uptick in price reductions in January in over 10 years.
Listen, when demand was 15% below, price cuts are going to skyrocket. Demand is now above where it was last year. Guess what's going to happen to price cuts? People are going to pull back on the price cuts. And you know I've been bearish, but I'm telling you, demand is stronger this year than it was last year while mortgage rates are 7%. And guys, look at this. Look at this. Mortgage rates are at 705. Last year on February 5th, they were 705, so flat. But what is happening right now? We look at bonds, they're down 9 basis points. We're going below 7 this week. We'll go below 7 today. We're going below 7 and contracts are going vertical. We're going to have a hot spring. It's going to be hot. We could end up overtaking 2023. I am shocked by that. I would have never guessed that, but I am bullish on the housing market. Now, let me show you some reasons why. We're going to get to this hot and cold map. Active listings are up, by the way. Okay, so I'm not saying active listings aren't up. Price cuts have stabilized. So everybody's like, oh, price cuts are increasing. They're no longer increasing. I'm trying my best to be accurate. That's what I care about. I think the people that are bearish right now are wrong. And here's why. You've got Franklin, scorching hot right now, 41 contracts higher than they were last year at this time. Okay, Mount Juliet, 26. You've even got a part of Murfreesboro we're going to look at in just a second, 22 higher than they were last year at this time. Gallatin, 17. Gallatin's actually really hot. Now, where are some cold areas? The northern side of Nashville, the Madison area. Madison's very cold right now. The southeast side of Murfreesboro, very, very cold. And the south side, the Spring Hill area. Now, I suspect that some of the coldness that we're seeing in these areas are due to some of the auto problems. And let me tell you, if there was ever a warning sign, there are layoffs happening right now, and they're especially happening in the distribution areas, the auto manufacturing areas. Bridgestone just laid off 700. Nissan today says they're stepping back from the merger with Honda. Okay, their American headquarters are in Franklin. So we got to pay attention to that. We have to pay attention to that. We can't just pretend like that's not a risk. But when I look at the data right now, what I'm seeing is that every single county except for Rutherford, this minus 0.2%, the only softness we're seeing really is in Rutherford County. It's catching up quickly. Look at this, Williamson. Look at that chart. Williamson's taking off this week. Davidson has caught back up. Murray's up. Cheatham's down, but Cheatham doesn't count. It's only like 50. It's a smaller count. I shouldn't say it doesn't count. It's just small. It's small. Okay, Wilson's up. Okay, so it's a lot hotter than it was last year in a lot of areas. Now, when we look at the neighborhoods, we can see, this is what I want to show you. This is just nuts. Okay, you can see, again, Madison, very, very soft, minus 23 in contracts. Madison's very soft. But look at this neighborhood, Villages of Riverwood. It's a great neighborhood, smoking hot compared to last year. This was a neighborhood that's been falling in price all year long. I believe that the reason this neighborhood is hot is because the price has been dropping. People started looking at it and say, there's value there. Okay, relative, right? Relative to the other places, it's got one of the highest gross yields if you look at rent to sales price. TSU, this one, a lot of new builds coming in here, a lot of townhouse new builds, and it's been very competitive. A lot of active listings. I think prices are dropping here too, and that's why. But you can see the west side of Nashville and the inner band of Nashville is a lot hotter than it was last year. You go out to Green Hills. Green Hills is soft, big time soft, and prices are probably going to be soft here too. So if I had to bet, by the way, those are the areas I would look to buy. Like if I'm looking to buy in the blue area If I'm going to look at a sell, I want to sell in the red area. But let's go down here where it's smoking hot in West Franklin. Look at this, up 8 contracts. Guys, 8 contracts more. These are 8 houses under contract versus a year ago. This right here, I mean, we're talking about a few blocks. This is very, very hot. And it's all over the west side of Franklin, Spencer Hall area, Franklin Green area. I mean, all of these in West Haven. Holy smokes. Last year at this time, only 13 contracts. Now 27. Let me show you what that looks like because I just think this is just insane. Okay, so let me show you what that looks like here. We're going to West Haven and look at this chart. It tells the story. We're at 27. I don't know if you can see that or not, but let me zoom in a little bit. We're at 27 contracts. By the way, and look at active listings, only 26. We're going to get there in a second, but 27 contracts. You have to go back to May of 2023 to see more than 27 contracts. May, that's the peak season. I mean, I'm just blown away that we have as many contracts as we had in the spring of 2023. You have to go back to the spring of 2022 before prices dropped and before interest rates increased to see this much demand again. We are seeing an absolute deluge of demand, in my opinion, in West Haven. Call me crazy. I would love to know, like, Ethan, you're wrong. Here's the story. But I'm looking at it, I'm like, holy smokes. Now, I reached out to somebody and they said, the agent I reached out to said, yeah, it's a buyer from the Palisades fire. So we can definitely see that there is movement from people moving from the Palisades, and they are honing in on West Haven, in my opinion. Again, very anecdotal. I didn't interview all 27. I reached out to one agent that I knew and I said, hey, congrats on your contract. I mean, like, is it? And they said, yes. So pretty wild there. Now let's go to Murfreesboro real quick because you saw that was very cold in Waits Creek, very hot in, I guess you say Muirwood. You guys can correct me when I say these names wrong. It's not like I know every single neighborhood in the greater Nashville area. But look at this, okay? Look at this, 49 listings, higher than they've had in the past 2 years. Contracts in the toilet right now, contracts in the toilet. This neighborhood, it's in trouble. If I'm buying, this is the neighborhood I'm looking in. They're clearly mispriced. There's clearly a problem. They're going to have to do something to move the inventory. A lot of these are new builds. We can see if we go to built info and we look at new. I mean, this is a new build neighborhood, but I'm asking for a lot in concessions for these. And these are all, I mean, look, you can see they're not moving. They're not moving right now. That's a problem. And you can see a lot of them are site built. A lot of them are condos, townhouse. You go up just a little bit, just north. This neighborhood's smoking hot. Clearly, they're winning on the value prop. You can see they had in the last spring, they had a ton go under contract and they're still moving, but you can see that the gap, even in this neighborhood's growing, but it does feel like for whatever reason, this neighborhood, the value is better based on what's moving. So they're clearly doing something to create value. These are new builds too. You can see lots of new builds in this neighborhood. Look at the new builds all below where the trend has been, which is interesting. And those are by sales price. You can look, this is by sales price. The other one was by price per square foot. Price per square foot. And it does look like you can rent this neighborhood. So, you know, if you're buying an investment, it might be worth looking into. But look, investments don't make sense in Nashville for the most part. You have to really just want to put your money somewhere and hold it. College Grove's pretty soft. The Grove, excuse me. We go back, you can see the Grove, very soft, 7 contracts less than last year at this time. That's a neighborhood that I would push on. Falls Grove is soft, but it's always a little bit slow until the spring. But this right here, the Grove, I mean, that's a good opportunity to really push. You've got 56 closed and you've got 29. I mean, they've got over a 6-month supply, only 2 under contract. This is a neighborhood to ask for something on. It's a great opportunity. Moving up to Green Hills. Green Hills is soft when you look at how many closed over the last 12 months, but contracts are not where they were last year. Let's see if active listings were where they were last year. So active listings 54. We go back to February. Yeah, they were 50, 55. So 53. So they're right where they were last year, but contracts are a little bit lower, about 30% lower. We had 21 to 25, and now we're at 19. So we'll see. Maybe it'll catch up in the next week. It's getting hotter out there. Nissan, they've got their American headquarters in Franklin, but Amazon hiring like crazy. I mean, we could sit here and go back and forth ping pong. Good news, bad news, good news, bad news. I'm just telling you right now, things are very, very much hotter than the headlines are reading. When you look, mortgage rates are dropping and there's no sign that demand is worse off. This is only bullish for Nashville, in my opinion. Tell me I'm wrong. Disagree with me. Show me with data. Help me see what I'm not seeing because it's crazy, crazy, crazy. And with that, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I'll see you on Saturday.